One of the challenges when you're watching birds is trying to identify them. Just what bird was it that you saw? I use a system called the S system of bird identification. You can apply it to just about anything, but let's just apply it to birds. There are 6 words in this S system. They are size, shape, sight, sight again, sound, and season. Let's take a look at each of these in turn. Now you're going to want to have a field guide so you can compare things, but take size. So you know how big a robin is. So is a duck bigger or smaller? Well, it's bigger, and a chickadee is smaller. When you look at the field guide, you can use that comparison to help you judge which bird you saw. Now let's think about shape. Shape can refer to the common shapes of birds. Is it hawk shape? Is it shaped like a duck? Is it shaped like a songbird, or chicken, or an owl? Those shapes are common and you should recognize them fairly easily. But also consider the shape of the rest of the parts of the bird. Take its beak. Is it long and pointed? Is it hooked? Is it sharp? Is it narrow? Is it wide? These will give you clues as to what type of bird it is. Now consider, where did you see the bird? Did you see it in the forest? Did you see it by a river? Did you see it by a lake or a pond? Were you in the desert? Were you in the mountains? Were you by the ocean? Were you on a beach? Each of these places are called habitats, and each habitat has its own type of birds that like to use it. This will give you another clue as to what type of bird you saw. Now consider sight. What does the bird look like? What was its color, its shape? What were its wings like? Did it have eye rings? What was its beak like? What were its special features? Each of these is a clue as to what type of bird you saw. Those are its physical features. But what about its behavior? What was it doing when you saw it? Was it feeding, hunting, soaring, migrating, nesting? Each species has its own repertoire of sounds. What sound did you hear? Was it tapping? Was it singing, whistling, chirping, honking, hooting? What season did you see it in? Spring, summer, fall, or winter? That's important because birds migrate and different birds are here at different seasons. Now let's look at some examples. Here's the first one. You're out in the field and you see this bird, but you don't know what it is. At least pretend you don't know what it is. But you make some observations. Smaller than a robin, black cap on its head, white cheeks seen in the woods, observed in southern Ontario in winter, perches on a branch. That gives you some clues. It's one of these 2 species. Is it a black-capped chickadee or Carolina chickadee? Well, this is where location comes in. The Carolina chickadee is not found in Ontario. Here's another example. 2 woodpeckers, and they look very much the same. But which species are they? You'll also notice that they both have red on the back of their heads. That tells you that they're both males. But wait, here's the female of the smaller species. Does that give you a clue? When you're looking at woodpeckers, there are other things to look at too. Is it male or female? The male and female pileated woodpeckers both have mustaches, but the male has a bit of red on his. So is this one male or female? Well, it's female. Now take a look at the male. See the red on him? Very clear when you look at it. But you have to look at it, and binoculars are something you should probably carry. It helps you get a better view. And then there's the flight pattern of woodpeckers. Woodpeckers have an up and down flight pattern. Not all birds fly like this. You should be looking for the flight pattern in any bird you see. And there are lots of woodpeckers. Look at all of these. Even though they're from all over the world, there is something about them that says they are woodpeckers. Birds change with the seasons. At least many do. These pictures are all of the same type of bird, but they're taken through the seasons. It's much harder to identify them when they're not in their bright breeding colors. Females are generally duller looking than males, but not in every case. This is where a good field guide comes in handy. This bird you probably recognize as the common loon, but it might surprise you that in the fall and winter it turns gray. Now consider our last example. 3 birds that all look alike, but 3 different habitats. Knowing which habitat you see the bird in really helps. I find the S system really helpful in identifying birds and even mammals. But there are other ways too. Try it, see if you like it. Good birding.